Network from Learfield. Welcome to Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official sports bar of March Madness. Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
Off and running, it's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved, and we have a special show today. It's a game day show. We are out west. We're in Eugene, Oregon. This is part of a 6-day road trip the Gophers left on Friday. We'll be coming home tomorrow after tonight's game, and certainly a lot to talk about. Guardsy is not with us here in Eugene. Obviously, he's back home, so he's not on the show. So, Coach, first of all, good to see you. And
good to see you.
Here we are out on this West Coast trip.
Here we are. Out west brings back a little bit of memories. Obviously, spent a lot of time out west. It was interesting being back in Seattle for a little bit, and kind of even on our way into town, drove by the hotel that we stayed at in the NCAA tournament, and kind of departed from there back home and then to Minneapolis. And so it was kind of full circle coming back. And we actually were in Eugene too. We scrimmaged Oregon a couple years back. We came out here, so yeah, we've spent some time out west. So it's interesting being back out here.
Yeah, and each year it's going to be one of these trips either to the Northwest, as long as the Big Ten kind of stays in this. Who knows what the future holds with the league, right? There's, always rumblings in the background that maybe add more, maybe it's a change in schedule. But for now, it's L.A. 1 year, and up here, Seattle and Eugene. Not too bad on Sunday. The Gophers played on Saturday night, spent the night in Seattle, and just a 50-minute flight down here to Eugene. So that wasn't too shabby.
The only thing I'm bitter about was when we left, it was like 50 degrees and sunny in Minneapolis. My kids are outside riding bikes and shooting baskets, and they had it better weather there than we had here.
Yeah, I heard there was even some golf courses that tried to get some folks out on Saturday and Sunday.
Although the weather in Seattle was pretty good. We got a little time to walk down to the market, and the guys got outside a little bit, on Sunday afternoon, which was good.
I saw them out on those scooters. Seattle has all those scooters.
Yeah, they were got all those scooters, and I went down and got a nice little bowl of chowder down there, and so we got to get out and get a little bit of sunshine on Sunday.
I did. I was tempted to go grab some bubble wrap as I saw those guys riding. With the injury luck this team has had, we didn't need a scooter crash. That's for sure.
Even me knowing that, what could go wrong like right now. So yeah,
I mean that obviously has become now a main storyline of this year. Again, you're down to 6 guys the other night. It changes everything. Foul trouble early changes everything. Again, in the middle of the game, you're playing a group of 5 that probably had never played together on the floor in a game for sure. And it just kind of one hit after another here.
It's been bizarre, I give our guys credit. I mean, if you're around them every day, they just keep finding a way. Sometimes you almost have to laugh it off a little bit and say, hey, what's going to happen next? But man, they're really trying. But it was unique the other night. We've thrown out obviously a lineup that we had never played. Croc, I feel terrible for him. Really wants to be out there with the guys, but it's just one of those things. Don't want to risk it either. And yeah, we're trying to kind of piece together some different lineups. There was one lineup, Langston Reynolds kind of looked like he tweaked his foot, and he came out, and we had Max Gizzy, Kai Shinholster, and Isaac Asima, and they asked me what defense we were in. And it kind of hit me for a second. I don't know. Yeah. Like we didn't have one. We didn't really have one we could go to. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, that's just kind of the way this has gone right now. And hey, it is what it is.
And it's like you said, you have to sometimes laugh it off. I suppose though, at some point too, I don't know, pound your fist on the table and say, that you might get angry at some point too.
I think I tell people it's a natural emotional reaction. Like after a loss or something doesn't go your way, I think you have to do that as a human. You take a second, you're like, are you kidding me? How can this, but then you quickly just catch your breath. All right, here we are. What do we got to do here moving forward? And like you said, I'm just so grateful to have what we have. And man, we've had some bad luck go our way, but we got it pretty dang good here. And so we're just going to keep moving along.
And even the other night in that game when you guys were, outmanned in terms of numbers and size. I mean, they're playing 2 6'11" guys to start, and they got a 6'10" dude that's about 300 off the bench, and you're trying to fight it at much of that first half with your tallest guy, Cade Tyson, at 6'7", and he's not, he's built, but he's not, he's not a big load, and yet you're up one with just over 4 minutes to go in that first half before a few of those live ball pick six turnovers kind of flipped the whole game.
Yeah, a lot was going to have to go right for us, and I thought early in the game, we really did. Boy, we missed some really, really clean looks. We had an opportunity maybe to, get up 8, 9 and kind of put some pressure on them, but we just kind of had a poor shooting night. We couldn't overcome that, but you're right. The end of the first half was really critical. And in this particular game, we had 4 really tough turnovers there in those last 4 minutes, and then you go down 13 at halftime, and we had a 1-point lead with 4 to go, and just didn't have enough firepower to overcome that.
Yeah, it was a 14-0 run there to end the half for Washington, and then them playing at home, they got a little energy. They hit a 3 early in that second half, and I think you guys cut it to 9 maybe at one point, and had a shot in the air. I think that would have cut it to 8 maybe at one point. That was a 3 that missed, and then which happens, of course. You got the shot in the air. I think it misses. It's a deep rebound. They get a run out and a 3-point play the other way, and all of a sudden you're thinking we might cut it to 8, and it's 12 before you know it again.
I watched the film and I was upset. I know we could have played better. We had to we had to really play. You never play a perfect game, but would have had to play it really well. But I went back and I watched the film, and we actually played probably better than I even gave ourselves credit for. And we asked a lot of some of those guys that they're outsized, undermanned. Hannes Steinbach's going to play in the NBA, and he's a really, really tough matchup for anybody. But especially being small with Grayson being in foul trouble. Hopefully, we've had a little bit more time here to kind of realize, all right, here's what we've got, and see what we can do when we're playing smaller.
Yeah, and I know you don't want to give away a lot in terms of maybe what you can now do knowing a little more, but I do want to go back and ask you a little bit about Jalen Crocker-Johnson. You mentioned in our pregame the other day that he had kind of been playing through this a little bit, and maybe it was Michigan State game that he tweaked it, and then he fought through at Maryland, and then at some point it was just like, we better rest it.
Yeah, it was something he kind of battled a little bit last year, but something he was able to manage, and I think he woke up after that Michigan State game and it was barking pretty good. It kind of tried to gut it out, I think, at Maryland, and it just kind of got to a point where, hey, we don't want this to develop into a fracture either, where it's something where you're out for a long period of time. So just kind of made the decision here. We're just going to kind of rest, and we'll revisit it here after this road trip.
Yeah, out tonight though.
Yes, out tonight.
Yeah, out tonight. So Langston feeling okay. That was a little scary, as you mentioned the other night. He's pointing down to his, I don't know what it was, his leg.
Yeah, I'm just
not even asking.
Yeah, hopefully, but thank God, he did go back, and I think he's doing fine. I think we'll be in good shape here that way, and those guys got to log a lot of minutes.
Yeah,
so it is what it is.
3 that played 40 on Saturday,
and honestly, he probably would have too had he not come out. So yeah,
exactly. That was. I'm looking. I'm like that. No, don't tell me. And then luckily, he went in, came out, and then finished the game. So now you've got a little time. No Jalen Crocker-Johnson, without giving away too much. I don't even know what it is that you might be changing or trying to come up with anything that knowing that you can without him, how do we switch things? How much of a challenge is that now in just a couple of days?
Well, I think it's a challenge in a lot of ways. Obviously, you pose your challenges defensively. Like tonight, you're playing against Nate Biddle, who I think you look at Oregon, you look at their record. Well, they've had 2 all-conference players out. Well, now they've got Nate Biddle back. I mean, he's an all-conference big for a reason. He can shoot it. He can post. He's a great passer. He's big. So now he's been back. They had a chance to win at Purdue. They've won. So they're a different team with him. So right away, tough matchup. Grayson's our only post. How are we going to be able to manage? So you're just talking about different things in your man and your zone that maybe you can do, but it's a challenge that way. And then maybe even the bigger challenge is kind of offensively. You're without, if Grayson's out of the game, you're without everybody on your roster that you've kind of practiced in what we call our P spot, and so you kind of have to tweak some things. And then you add on top of it, these teams are changing defenses all the time, and so it's not just, hey, they're going to play man-to-man, here's what we do. They're kind of changing defenses all the time, and so that poses a challenge. But hopefully now after these last couple of days, you're able to at least, try to conceptualize some things for the guys to do and to be able to play and to read and react a little bit. And I always look at these things, and I tell young coaches this, and I live it too, is sometimes you go through these things and it's hard and you get frustrated because you're like, man, everything we've done, you throw out the kitchen sink. But what happens is usually you look back on this, and it may be next year at this time, and you're like, you know what, something that we learned or we were able to do during that really hard time made us better.
Right.
And I just keep telling myself that, and I believe it because that's been my experience throughout my career, and I believe that will happen, even if it's not showing up always all the time. You got to get out of your comfort zone, and this forces you to do that.
Yeah. With Grayson, we mentioned he got in that second foul early, which then changed things. So for him, the challenge, and now he's got a guy that he's going to probably be matched up against, it puts tremendous foul pressure on teams, right? And Biddle. So his challenge to defend without fouling, but make sure that Biddle's not dropping a bunch of points in. That's got to be an incredible challenge.
It is, and again, you're going to have to put yourself in harm's way. Being able to do that, and like a lot of guys, I thought the first foul he picked up was a little out of position. Second one, there was a little lack of communication. He didn't, but again, he's going to foul. We just have to try to find a way to eliminate some of the silly ones. And honestly, probably would have put him back in the first half, looking back on it with 2, but we were still up 1, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're still up 1 with 4 minutes to go, and then it's like you get towards the end of the half, and you're like, all right, well, it's 6. Man, do we want to risk it now? There's only 2.5 minutes left, and you're like, do we want to risk it now? But then, man, before you knew it, it was 13, and so hindsight's easy right there, but we were surviving it, but then they just went bam, 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 and made that run, and before we could blink an eye, it was too late.
Yeah, and with a couple of those live ball turnovers, even with him in, there's no guarantee that run wouldn't have happened.
There's no, exactly. The turnovers, it wouldn't have mattered whether he was in or not, because I thought that was the catalyst for the run, was the turnovers.
Yeah. You guys had only 1 turnover up to that point, and I think it was 5 in the last 4 minutes or something. 4 maybe, something like that. All right, let's take our first break. It is Tuesday. It's game day, Minnesota and Oregon. We'll take air tonight at 9 o'clock Minnesota time. It's a 9:40 p.m. tip-off Minnesota time. Come to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly. Of course, we're not there today. We'll be back there here in a couple of weeks. Buffalo Wild Wings, a proud sponsor of our show, and we are there at the University of Minnesota location on Mondays and Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings, a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's website, says at 10/20/25.
Do you know how plastic bottles become shirts, shoes, or backpacks? What happens when your recyclables leave your curb? Can they really become something new? Visit WM.com to learn how WM helps turn your plastic bottles into everyday products, giving materials a second life. WM has the recycling infrastructure, innovation, and expertise to serve our Twin Cities community and care for our planet. The recycling process starts and ends with you. Visit WM.com to learn more.
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
Buffalo Wild Wings has partnered with the Gopher men's basketball team for the Gophers Win You Win promotion this season. After every Gopher men's basketball victory, fans win 6 free wings. The offer is valid at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations throughout Minnesota with a $10 minimum purchase for 2 days following each Gopher win. Fans are also invited to join the Niko Medved Coaches Show on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 at the Buffalo Wild Wings University of Minnesota location. For full details, visit gophersports.com/BWW. Buffalo Wild Wings is a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness.
Imagine getting insider access to your favorite Gopher student athlete. Exclusive events, behind-the-scenes content, and unique experiences that bring you closer than ever. That's what you get as a member of Dinkytown Athletes. With memberships starting at just $10 a month, every membership directly supports Gopher student athletes through NIL opportunities, helping them grow on campus and beyond. Take your fan experience to the next level. Visit DinkytownAthletes.com today.
You depend on CenterPoint Energy to deliver energy for what matters most to you, your neighbors, and throughout the land of 10,000 lakes, so we can all make a better tomorrow. That's why we're investing in the latest technology to reduce emissions, offer rebates on qualifying energy-efficient natural gas equipment, and provide energy-saving programs that help save you money. Look ahead at centerpointenergy.com/futuremn.
Playing the Minnesota Lottery is a great way to add some win to your winter. Because while it's long, winter should be fun. And it's the everyday moments that help us through winter. A hot chocolate waiting when we come inside. An extra set of gloves. A fluffy new winter hat. So win this winter by picking up winter scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
The human heart. It doesn't take days off, or hours, minutes, or seconds for that matter. It just keeps beating in steadfast, unrelenting service to each of us. So when your heart needs medical care, doesn't it deserve the most advanced treatments available, delivered by nationally recognized physicians and surgeons? Show your heart some love. Take it to mHealth Fairview. Visit mHealthFairview.org/heartcare to learn more.
No matter how you drive it, there's a Ford for you. On the work site or out in the town, F-Series trucks provide power and toughness when you need it most. It's what makes them the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years. When adventure calls, the Bronco family always answers. That's because they're made for the great outdoors. With a flexible interior, the Ford Explorer adapts toward your needs. Visit your local Northland Ford dealers to find the perfect Ford for you. Plus, a great offer to go along with it. Based on 1977 to 2024 CUI industry reported total sales.
Welcome back. More Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Eugene, Oregon. It's a game day, Minnesota and the Ducks tonight. We invite you to visit the University of Minnesota bookstore for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it is your one-stop shop, and every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. You can shop in-store on campus or go online at bookstores.umn.edu. We'll be back live in a couple of weeks back on campus. We'll give away a couple of gift cards, $25 to come out and see us. Tonight we mentioned it's Oregon. We're still recapping a little bit of this. We're on this, what is about a 6-day road trip. By the time you leave last Friday, you get back in, I guess, late afternoon tomorrow. You'll stay here in Eugene tonight. can there be some benefits of, just getting away from everything and kind of hunkering down with a group over a 5 or 6 day stretch with a couple of games in between?
Yeah, I think so. I think the guys, we got a great group of guys, enjoy being around each other. I think they enjoyed going, down to the market. They just enjoy hanging out in the meeting rooms and watching highlights of each other, right? They'll pull up the 15
nights ago,
15U highlights and even of the GAs, and they're hooting and how they have a blast doing that stuff. And so you have opportunities. And yesterday I tried to get out and do some fun stuff, with the guys in between practice a little bit. And I think that stuff is good. And in any scenario, and I think even for our guys, some of this stuff, we're human beings, has gotten heavy too. There's a little, it's just, man, you start to feel like you can't catch a break, but you can't start. You got to enjoy it. You got to have the sense of gratitude for everything you're doing. We got tremendous opportunity here, again tonight, and the guys just respond so well. But you want to try to help them do that and create an environment too, like we have, that we enjoy being around each other.
Yeah, and as you go through this, as you mentioned, maybe there's a time, this road trip, these guys, and this too, like when you have reunions of certain teams and different things and you get together, sure, this group's going to remember the Michigan State game and the court rush, but when they get together in 10 or 15 years that are, FaceTiming or whatever it'll be in 10 years, who knows what it'll be, but it'll be, they're going to
teleported here or whatever, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. They'll be talking about the trip to Eugene, and they'll be talking about in the locker room after the game, and it won't always be on the court stuff.
Oh, most of it's not, it's the other stuff. And, it's like the snack time thing, it's stuff like that they'll talk about and they'll remember. And it's probably stuff they talk about that, the only people that will know is them, right? Exactly. It wasn't us.
Yes.
But no, I agree with that. It's the times that you spend like this. And I think most of these guys, when they leave, and I can tell you the guys I have that are in the NBA or still playing pro ball, and all of them would give anything to come back and do this again, especially if you're in a great culture and environment, and it's never the same. It's the best time in their life, and it's the best time playing basketball. And so I think that stuff is so cool. And sometimes trips like this are really fun that way, especially, like you said, when you enjoy the group of guys, and I really enjoy the group of guys and staff, and even you, Grim, and Michelle, and everybody. Yeah. We just have good people,
Yeah, no doubt. I did want to ask you too about when you talk about experiences and can this help down the road. I stumbled upon this by accident. I was looking up. You guys played Washington last year at Colorado State, so I was just trying to get the records, and I noticed it was February 15th, so a year ago this past Sunday, that you guys started your 11-game win streak off into everything. So it was like basically this week, a year ago at this time. And up to that point, you had a pretty good record, but I don't know if the outside world was thinking you would end up where you were going to end up on February 15th when that streak started. So take us back then, because I just think it's I'm fascinated just by the journey of a particular season. I think you guys started 3-3, maybe we're 6-5 at one point, and then you end up winning the conference and an eyelash from the Sweet 16.
We ended up 14-4 in the Mountain West, and I still say if our New Mexico games had been flipped and we had played at the pit first and they had to come to us second, we would have won it outright that year.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's just sometimes I always tell people, and it's no different now in the Big Ten, people don't realize this because it doesn't matter, but it's not just who you play, but when you play them is, and you don't control that. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. When you play them, it could be you play a team when they're maybe not in as good of a rhythm, or maybe they have a couple guys out, or you're really, on a heater at that point in time. But we really started to play well right before Christmas, and we lost. And then, boy, you could just kind of feel the momentum building. And then, we hit it and started to play, and we just took it to another level. And I'm telling you, whatever the date was on that, when we beat Utah State at home, I remember, and we just pounded them. And there was some feeling that night, and I can't understand what it was with our guys even before the game, where we just felt invincible after that.
Yeah.
And we were defending at such a high level of confidence. And then my favorite game of the year last year was we were going to Boise in the last regular season game. They were right there with us too, and they had a chance, at the league championship or whatever. They were playing at home. We had beat them, before, sellout crowds, senior night for one of the best players in Mountain West history, and we went in there and just, 2 minutes to go, they're emptying out the arena, and Clifford had 36.
What a great feeling, right?
Oh, it's like nirvana. And then you know what? I had a coach tell me, he's like, you guys are going to win this tournament now. And we're playing well. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, no, I'm telling you, you guys are playing. And then we pounded everybody in the tournament too. And it was just,
right?
It was just this feeling of, and then we went to the NCAA tournament, and it's again, when you feel it, it's the best feeling in the world with the group of guys running together, like, all right, we're winning. And then Maryland, there was, before that game, and again, if you're there, you feel like there was not one person in that program who didn't believe we were going to go beat them.
Right.
And I thought we did enough to do it. And I felt it the whole game too. I felt like, man, we're gonna find a way to win this, and just didn't work out. But what a magical run. And we've all, and I think that's what's important. The longer you do it, you realize that the journey of, the way this season's gone or that season, it can turn very, very quickly either way. And you kind of ride both of those things, but it's staying consistent, through all that, and understand if you're doing the right things, man, your time will come.
Did you feel like what you were talking about earlier in the show, that maybe what you guys are fighting through right now can help you 3 weeks from now, or maybe 50 weeks from now, just in terms of how it can flip? Did you feel last year there was a point, you're sitting, like I said, at 6-5 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Did you think you learned some things during some of those stretches that was key to putting the finish on that you guys did?
I tell you, my wife will tell me, and that's a story that we went through some dark times from this, because we had been to the tournament, we had high expectations, you know what I mean, to win, which is what you want, and it wasn't going our way. I thought she really set me straight again, just to kind of center myself a little bit. I thought I grew a ton personally, do you know what I mean, through that, of just, again, we all been head coach for a long time, but sometimes, man, I just grew a lot, I thought, personally through that, and I thought it probably enabled me even more to just help our team and our staff through that. And you kind of let go of a lot of things, you just focus on what you can control, and again, it's amazing how things turn. If you have the right people in your organization, anything's possible.
Okay, another offbeat question here, and I'm kind of springing this one on you. If things go to the point where you win enough games, you're in the mix. The Big Ten has the 2 bids. I mean, obviously, you'd love to just, let's run the table and surprise everyone and get to the NCAA tournament. But the Crown tournament's looming as well. There's 2 Big Ten teams guaranteed spots. In the first year of that thing last year, a bunch of teams said, nope, we're out. We're not going to play in it. We want to hit the portal. Maybe there's coaching changes, what have you. Do you feel like that would be an important thing if you would be in that position?
I think it would be awesome. I mean, first of all, it's going to be different. There's only 8 teams. It's not 16. It's a cool deal. And I mean, having tournament in Vegas is awesome. At T-Mobile, I know exactly how it's set up. I think it would be awesome. I think it'd be a great experience. I think there's a little bit of NIL money for the guys. 2 Big Ten, 2 Big 12, 2 Big East, a couple of at-larges. I think that would be big time. And what's funny is before the Maryland game at home, we actually would have been one of the bids, assuming Ohio State got into the tournament. Now it's the 2 highest net ranking teams, which is a little funny. You could, in theory, finish 2 or 3 games ahead of someone in the standings, but not go.
Because I think Northwestern right now, like, they're 2 Big Ten wins, but they're actually their net.
Yeah, their non-league was better. And again, we were ahead of them, I believe, before we lost to Maryland. It's still right there. There's a ton to be
a lot of
decided.
Games,
But my point is yes. I mean, that would be something, I think. And then you look, Nebraska went last year. Right. Look at what happened. USC went last year. So I do. I think if that was something, I've talked about it with our guys. We've talked about kind of what's, next here for us. And obviously, we want to win as many games as we can. We like to see, could we avoid Tuesday? in the Big Ten tournament? Could we do that? Can we go to the tournament in advance? And can we do enough then to have an opportunity, if we can't win the Big Ten tournament, to have an opportunity to do something like that? And so you're always playing for something.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that would be fun. So we'll start stacking some wins here, right?
Well, yeah.
Easy for me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the game. The one thing the guys know and fans know, man, no matter what they throw at us or whatever, until they tell us we can't play anymore this year, we will put everything we have into every single game, preparation-wise and whatever. There will be no give in, or we'll never do that.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's take another break. We'll come back. It's basketball tonight. 9:40 actually is the tip time. We'll take care at 9 o'clock Minnesota time, and we'll preview that Ducks and Gophers game coming up a little bit later on. Long contested 2 also coming up. Want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings, proud sponsor of our show and a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield. It's more Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Mike Grimm with you. It is game day. We're out in Eugene, Oregon, Minnesota, and Oregon tonight. 9 o'clock is our pregame. Al Nolan and I will have the pregame show, and then the call with a tip at 9:40. Hey, Gopher fans, we want to remind you that Goldie's Run is back. It's presented by Abbott. It's April the 12th this year. Registration now open. You can run or walk with the Gophers while raising money for M Health Fairview Masonic Children's Hospital and helping change the lives of pediatric patients with heart disease. To sign up, go to goldiesrun.com. It's a fundraiser, and it is an awesome experience. Thousands of people. It's one of the bigger running events that is now in the state of Minnesota. We've got a long contested 2 here, and oftentimes we don't talk basketball at all with this, but I do want to ask you about the Crown a little bit last segment. I want to ask you, too, about the influx. There's always been an international flavor in college basketball, but now, man, I'm telling you, every time I'm filling out boards, the opposing team has 1 or 2 guys. Washington the other night, I think it was Germany, Cameroon, and was it Serbia?
Serbia.
Yeah, yep. Serbia. So I suppose some of that is those young guys that have been playing the U20s, the U19s, and then for a long time they've been able to play a little, I guess I'd call it semi-pro, and keep their eligibility, and that goes back a long ways. But now with revenue share and NIL, maybe it's more attractive for some of those 18 and 19 or 20. In Illinois' case, they've got a couple of 20-year-old freshmen to come and play here. So, 1, am I right that there's just more? And 2, are you as a coaching staff investigating or interested in maybe adding some international flavor down the road?
Yeah, so first I would say you're right. There are more. It's not just more, but it's the higher level. A lot of times there were European or international players, but maybe not always the elite ones, because they were making more money in the clubs, right? So the elite ones were, getting paid. Technically it's supposed to be just, necessary expenses, so to speak, but the clubs were able to hold on to their best talent. Well, now with the revenue share and NIL, it's a lot more lucrative here for their top players to come who maybe aren't quite ready for the NBA yet, but that next level. And second best league in the world is the EuroLeague. The EuroLeague is amazing, and so the level of basketball in the world continues to get better and better. So yes, you're seeing these higher level international prospects come over and play. From our perspective, 1,000%. We've invested a good bit of time over there going to all this stuff. I think that we still had to figure out some stuff institutionally from an NIL perspective, how we were going to do that. I think we've got that stuff figured out now, and you'll see us be in that market as well.
How hard, or is it challenging to be able to get over there and scout? Do you have guys off your staff or just connections that help you? Obviously video, you can just about see any game in the world now if you can track down the video. So how does that process work for the Golden Gophers?
Well, it's both. I mean, you're watching a lot of video, but you've got to go in person. I know both, Brian Cooley and Aaron Katsuma have spent, multiple trips, at the under 18s, under 19s, under, all that stuff, which, now that used to be when you go over there, there'd be, 10, 15 schools. Now, I mean,
everyone's there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are over there. And then the game, what's funny is they were really ahead of us in the sense that when you recruit over there, it's all agents. Well, and it used to be here, AAU in high school. Now it's agents here too. So really the game over there is really kind of how it is now. So it's over there. It's kind of getting a network of all the agents and the clubs. And I think being able to see them play in person is really good. And kind of, you really, when you're recruiting internationally, you really have to understand the levels. You know, there's so many different levels and clubs. If you're playing in, you know, this league in Germany, how is that compared to this league in Spain or Serbia or so on? So to really kind of get an understanding of how good or how much of a comparison you can make between the NCAA game. And even having said that, the NCAA game, it is different than the FIBA game still.
Yeah, and the Euro players too, it seems that they have the style of play is a little different. I think for years they kind of had, and I don't know if it was a knock on them, but there was this kind of, they're just all finesse guys. And there are finesse players that come from that league, certainly, but there's some big brutes that can bang around and shoot the three right now.
Well, our fans just saw Hannah Steinbach play, you know, and he'd been playing in the NBA, but like, I mean, and you understand too, I mean, I there's the coaching in Europe and all across the world is phenomenal. I mean, I watch European basketball. Some of the best ideas and most creative things are, you know, coming from the Euro leagues and this FIBA in general. And I think there's more similarities with the FIBA game and our game than there are with the NBA in our game. The NBA is a different game. The way the spacing and the illegal defense and a lot more isolation play and stuff. FIBA and what we do here, there's a lot more similarities between those two.
Yeah. Can you also recruit to the fact that you're in one of the bigger markets and mecca, you know, media centers in Minneapolis to some of these kids that might be from big cities over there?
Yeah, and I would also hope, I think stylistically,
sure, we
play a lot more like some of the better clubs there. I mean, I think those people want to play with more of cutting and ball movement. And, you know, I tell you what, if fans get an opportunity to watch some of those teams play, they play a really good brand of basketball, the way they pass and move and cut. Now, the NBA, the level of athleticism and stuff is just staggering. But the style of play, I think hopefully that's a selling point as well.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought of that part of it, because for years, right, the Euro players, the bigs everyone would comment about, man, the bigs can throw, pass. There was it Sabonis, who was like one of the great passers of all time, and that got the reputation going. But a lot of that's due to the cutting, right, and the offense, which you guys have. Durkin got a nice layup the other night on a back cut again, and I think Langston had one as well. So I would think that a big that could shoot the three would want to play for the Gophers.
And shoot and pass, and just the way the offenses are inverted and moving without the ball, and the unique ways they manipulate the help defense and all that stuff. So yes, to long-winded answer, but I think everyone's kind of recruiting over there a little bit, and I think hopefully you'll see us down the road be a little bit more involved too. And then just from a roster management standpoint, I think there's still a few guys. The last two opponents, I think, had guys that still were getting COVID years, which was 20, 21, 22, depending on when and how they played. I think we're through that now, so we'll probably see fewer starting next year 6 and 7 year guys, we think. Who knows what judges might rule on I hope
what.
So.
But does that too maybe change the way teams, including the Gophers, will recruit and structure a roster?
I hope so. Every night I turn on the TV and I see these guys. I popped on, because they're out here, I popped on Gonzaga, and I'm seeing Graham Ike, who's Gonzaga's player. I mean, he was playing against us at Wyoming with David Roddy. David Roddy's in his 4th year as a pro.
Yeah, right.
And these guys are still playing college. It's just nuts. So I hopefully we can move past that a little bit, and I think it allows some younger guys too to get an opportunity.
Yeah, and look, there are circumstances. Obviously, yes. Parker Fox was 52 years old when he finally left the school last year. Our good buddy.
He's older than that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, my running joke. If Guardsy were here, he'd make fun of me for saying this, but the running joke is Parker's getting the senior discount at Perkins now when he goes because he's that old. But I know he's over in Italy now watching his fiance play hockey, and hopefully they keep it rolling. But the Guardsy, speaking of Guardsy, the other night he tweeted out, and it pretty remarkable. Nick Boyd is older than Anthony Edwards.
Let that sink in.
Think about that, right?
Yeah.
That's not a knock on anyone. It's just the way the system's set up, He missed a full year, and he got a COVID year, and the next thing you know, he's 24, and I think he's like 6 months older than Anthony Edwards, who's in year 6 of the NBA.
I don't fault those guys at all for it, but it puts it into perspective too when you're playing against these guys who are that old and that experienced, and so there needs to be, again, a little bit, and I don't get on that rant or whatever, but I'm in favor. I'm the NABC board too. I think we need to talk about an age limit.
Yeah.
And I think we've got all these rules and stuff, but sometimes I think an age limit would streamline a lot of this. You know, there's people trying to do everything they can to manipulate their way to get another year of eligibility because the money's good.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. And I don't blame them for doing it, but at some point we've got to move on and allow, there's another young person who needs an opportunity to be that next guy. You can't be in college forever here. And so however we do that, I think as I look at this now, I would be in favor of some kind of an age limit for college.
All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back and wrap it up. We'll take a look at the Oregon Ducks. They are the Gopher opponent. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Gopher fans know the power of a great team. M Health Fairview University of Minnesota Medical Center is ranked the #1 hospital in the Twin Cities by U.S. News & World Report. This is more than an award. It's a reflection of our team of doctors, nurses, and staff who deliver world-class care so you can be at the top of your game. As the official healthcare provider of Gopher Athletics, M Health Fairview is proud to serve people across the state.
Midland Hills Country Club is well known as one of the finest golf clubs in the Twin Cities. The club has completely renovated its classic Seth Rayner designed course back to its original design. Enjoy a meticulously maintained course in a newly renovated ballroom and patio accommodating up to 300 guests in smaller breakout rooms, along with an executive boardroom overlooking the beautiful course. The club offers a great golf experience in a comfortable social atmosphere and is conveniently located just 10 minutes from either downtown. Visit MidlandHillsCC.org.
Hey Gopher fans, Bobby Durkin here from Minnesota Men's Basketball. In our program, championship culture is built on toughness, trust, and showing up every day to do the work. That's why I'm proud to support the True North family of companies. True North invests in elite teams, like the championship team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and their family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com. That's how champions are built.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota. Let's go places. Based on manufacturer's website, says at 10/20/25.
The Fan.
His help, as always, Michelle Train Traversy, Eric Nichols back at our Learfield headquarters, along with Michael Tackett for getting the show done here on the road. We're right now at the Team Hotel. Tonight is game night, and we're ready to roll. The Oregon Ducks, we mentioned in the opening segment that they have had some injuries. I think they've had at least one season-ending injury with one of their better players. Biddle has been in and out. Unfortunately for you, you're catching him when he's in.
Yes,
tonight. And he is kind of the focus of what they want to do, right?
Yeah, he's a difference maker, and we're just talking about big guys a lot. He's kind of that prototypical. He can shoot the three, can score in the post. He's an excellent passer. Great hands, playing Travis. So yeah, he's a load to handle, and so they're a different team with him playing through him. Draws so much attention, defensively. So yeah, they're a different team with him.
Speaking of the age limit, he's a guy, and I say this with tongue in cheek, he looks like he's about 43 years old playing. Yeah. I don't know what his age is actually, but he's been around the block. How do you go about trying to contain him and make sure that things are headed your way against him?
Well, obviously we've got only one post player available, right. Tonight, so we're shorthanded there, obviously in the interior. Grayson will guard him. But no matter what, whenever you're playing against a guy like that, you're always just trying to figure out how can you try to take real estate. And what do I mean by that? Of not allowing him maybe to catch the balls in the spots that he wants to. Sometimes even just 3 feet, either way can make the difference between a make or miss shot. When can you deny him the ball? When you do, where are you bringing help from? And when he catches it in a spot that he does, a lot of times you're going to have to bring an extra defender sometimes, right? To be able to do that. I don't think that's any secret, but how you do that, where you do it, when do you do it? I think those are all things that you try to do. And then you got to remember too, it's not like they have other guys too. It's like, and then what happens is a guy like that makes everybody else's game easier, right? Because they create open shots for those other guys. Those guys are playing then off of closeouts and all that. So that's the challenge, but it's those things that we have to do. And then when we're smaller, we'll probably have to swarm even more that way to him.
It's an age-old question over the years with bigs. I know when Tubby Smith was the coach here, he doubled the post. Didn't matter if he averaged 1 point a game or no points a game. That was just his philosophical, we're going to double and make him kick it out. With the advent of the 3 now, that becomes you pick your poison a little bit. So with him, do you just have to mix it up, or is there a standard rule that you guys want to follow?
Well, I think it's, every player and every situation is different. I'm one of those guys that have done it either way. I think, like you just mentioned, because of the 3-point shot, I think sometimes you got to be careful of always sending an extra defender, because again, a contested 2, sometimes obviously analytically is a lot better shot for us, but for some guys, if they can get to a spot, those 2s they shoot them at a 60-65% clip, well then that's not going to work either. So I think it's when you decide to bring an extra defender, where you decide to bring him. There's different situations on the court, and hopefully your goal is to try to keep this guy off balance.
Right. And I suppose there's times too where just a guy can just make even a step, little cat and mouse game to force a move, right?
100%. And sometimes creating indecision with that guy and keeping off balance. Are they coming? Are they not coming? And all those things are things that you try to do.
Last week in the show, we kind of previewed the road trip, and you mentioned that Dana Altman was a guy that you really, the head coach of Oregon, of course, he's been here a while. Great success at Creighton over the years as well. That he was a guy that you've admired. Have you gotten to know him pretty well over the years?
I got to know him a little bit. I wouldn't say intimately, but I do. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that a lot of people tend to forget about sometimes when they look at the history and kind of what he's done.
900 wins.
Oh man, and the success that he's had. And again, I followed him for a long time, and there's still things that he does. I think he's known. Obviously, when he was at Creighton in particular, was run this spread offense. He still has remnants of it now that he still has in, and he's always been that guy, the master of changing defenses. 3-quarter court pressure to man to a matchup zone to whatever. Does a terrific job of keeping people off balance, and it's always been very, very difficult to play against. And the other thing that always happens with his teams is no matter how they start, they usually find a way to become the best version of themselves by the end of the year. And unfortunately, maybe for the Gophers tonight, I look at them now and it's like, okay, they've got Nate Biddle back. They've really looked better here the last couple weeks. A lot of it's having a great player back too. But Dana's a terrific coach. He's going to keep this team going.
Yeah, and I know you, your 1 year at Drake, got to experience a little bit of Arch Madness, which is the Missouri Valley tournament. He owned that tournament, even the years that they didn't win the regular season. I was in St. Louis from 01 to 06, and I think almost every year Creighton ended up, there were some good teams in that league. Barry Henson, then was, I think, Southwest Missouri State, and Bradley was good. Northern Iowa with Jacobson was good at that time. But I think Altman owned that tournament for a stretch. He had Funk and Corver and all these guards.
And they had some great bigs, and I think, to be honest, but watching, again, like I said, watching his teams at Creighton, I just loved how they played, how they recruited the style. And I'm like, man, if I ever get my chance at the mid-major, and I would say that our teams at Furman, when we started to, we got really, really good, and we won the league, and to Drake, we play like, and then to even to Colorado State, I think there were a lot of things that, we wanted our teams to play a similar style, and it's just continued to evolve that way.
Yeah, and so, in some cases like that, then you say, let's pattern us a little bit out of what Dana Altman did at Creighton or wherever. How do you then study that to implement into a philosophy for you?
Everything kind of becomes your own. You take bits and pieces, and one that's on the offensive end, the defensive end, the things that you admire, and evolve over time, and it just kind of becomes uniquely your own. But again, there was an inspiration there, just kind of watching those teams when he was at Creighton and how the success that they had, and thinking, man, I would love to have a team that looked like that. And they're never all the same, but that's what it is. And I think you should just learn over time, and had some great mentors. Is like, hey, you got to do something that you believe in and what you want, but there's always people and things along the way, and you hope you keep evolving. That's what this is about.
And he still has the long sleeve dress shirt and the tie, right? Look.
Well, but he's gone away from that now.
Really?
Yeah. No. He's like the rest of us now in the quarters.
He's gone to the quarters.
Dana's gone to the quarter zip, man. Like, yeah.
Very good. Well, that was his kind of signature for all those years. I just assumed, I've watched him. I guess I didn't pay that close of attention.
But listen, at the end of the day, this is the best league in the country. It's awesome to be a part of it. And you've got these unbelievable coaches and programs and the places we get to go and the people we get to play against. It's just awesome stuff. And so excited again for the opportunity to go out there and see what we can do.
Well, thanks for spending some of the game day. I know you got work to get ready to finish things off tonight. Good luck this evening.
Hey, thank you.
All right, there he is, the head coach, Niko Medved. We want to thank him for his time. We'll talk to you tonight. 9 o'clock is our pregame. Minnesota time. 9:40 is the tip. The Gophers and the Ducks. This has been Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
We ask parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs. It's probably the best thing you do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more.